you're ready?
Yes.
So this is my second interview for my second guest.
Wow.
Which is a big honor.
Second.
I'm here with Paul. Can you just tell a little bit about you? What do you do? Where do you come from?
I come from Argentina. I am a juggler, and I've been performing since I was 6 years old.
Wow, that's really cool. So you come from a real traditional circus family?
Yes, both sides. My mother's side, I'm the 4th generation, and on my father's side, I'm the 6th generation.
Wow.
And my children are now the 7th generation because they are performing as well.
Wow, that's beautiful. So you're a juggler. Were your parents jugglers as well?
My father is, and his father did a little bit of juggling, but he did a little bit of everything as well.
Okay.
Lion taming, my grandmother walked the wire. At that time, they did a little bit of everything in the circus, in the family circus, and my mother as well did a bit of everything. Then they later on trained in only one discipline, which helped a lot. My father only juggling, and my mother now the crossbow act.
Okay. Oh wow. Did they have their own circus also?
Yes, both families did.
Okay.
They had the grandparents of my mother had a very big circus in Colombia that toured all over South America, and that's how when they came to Argentina, they hired from the smaller circus of my father's side.
Okay.
They hired the ringmaster, which was my grandfather and my father as a young juggler.
Okay. What was that circus called?
The big circus was Circo Egret Hermanos from Colombia.
Okay.
And the smaller circus in Argentina from my grandmother's side was Circo Hermanos Palma.
Okay. Oh, wow. Do they still exist, these circuses?
No, they don't.
Okay. So after a while, there weren't enough people anymore.
Yes, different circumstances came about, and there is still family from both sides that are continuing in circus.
Okay. So now your whole family is working in circus, but they all work as self-employed artists.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Okay. Wow. So you said the first time you performed, you were 6.
Sorry, when I started juggling when I was 6, and the first time I performed I was 7.
Okay.
And it was in the Scottish Opera in Glasgow at the Theatre Royal.
Wow, that's a pretty cool first
The Battered Bride. Yeah, it was nice because they hired a real circus artist for Smetana as the Battered Bride. On the 3rd act, the circus comes into town.
Okay.
And it's pictured in the 18th century or 19th century Czechoslovakia at that time.
Okay.
The Czech Republic. And in the 3rd scene, the circus comes into town with the opera, and they wanted real circus artists, so they hired my father and mother. My father juggling, and my mother walking the wire.
Okay.
But they saw me, 7 years old, backstage rehearsing, and the producer said, "Oh, we have to put him in," and that's how I became an artist already on stage.
At that age.
Yeah.
And did you like that?
I was very nervous the first day. I could say, "What's happening?" I asked my mother, "Why is my heart feeling like this?"
Oh, that's sweet.
But it was very special, and it was great to start there. And then since then, I've been performing with my parents. 7, 8 years old. At 8, I was performing with my parents at the Ice Follies and Holiday on Ice and Ice Show touring the United States. So juggling on ice. And my father had a small accident in San Francisco, and I replaced him when I was 9.
Okay.
And that was the first time I did a solo act with my mother as my assistant, and I did a complete 4-minute act by myself.
Wow.
And that was also very special.
Of course. And now you juggle clubs, you juggle hats,
Yes.
you juggle football.
Yeah.
Do you juggle something else?
Ping pong balls in my mouth.
Balls.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you all do that already from that age, or did you learn that?
No, mostly
later?
when I was small, I started with balls, then rings, and then clubs.
Okay.
Then I took away balls and rings out, and only dedicated my training only to clubs.
Okay.
And that's what I really like. It takes a lot of training, a lot of effort, and so now my specialty is clubs. But I also do the hats. That came later when I was 12, 13. I started doing hats, and the soccer ball, which I love to play. Football.
Ah, okay, that's where it comes from. Do you also do football on your feet?
No, not so much.
Just on the head.
On my feet, I play.
Okay. Of course. At that age, when you started juggling, and for the beginning, it was just for fun, I guess. Like you saw your father performing, and you wanted to do the same thing.
Well, my parents told me, since we are in the circus, you have to learn something, and juggling is good because you can travel the world with just a small bag.
That's true.
Yeah. And I said, okay, so I started juggling, practicing. But when I went on stage for the first time and realized that there's people watching, that you get applause, and so that pushed me to practice more, because I wanted to be good. I wanted to not disappoint the people that were going to watch me. And that was what pushed me to practice. Working every day as a little boy on stage with my parents pushed me that during the day I wanted to practice to become better.
I see. So how many hours would you practice a day?
From 6 years old to 12 or 13, I practiced 2 or 3 hours a day. But then from 13 to 23, for 10 years, I practiced between 5, 6, and up to 8 hours a day.
Wow.
Every day.
Every single day?
Yeah.
So did you make that a conscious choice that you wanted to practice?
Yes. I want to be the best, and so I need to practice. If you want to be the best at something, you need to practice.
Yes, that's very true. Was there ever a certain goal you wanted to achieve? Like, was there a certain show you wanted to be in, or a competition you wanted to win?
When I was younger, yes.
Mm-hmm.
No competition, but the shows. I wanted to work here, there, and the shows came along, so that was good. But no, it was, wherever I was happy to be performing at, and that was fun.
Ah, that's beautiful. Was there ever a decision that you really wanted to juggle? I mean, your parents said it's good, it's easy to travel with. Was there a moment where you said, okay, now this is really what I want, or were you ever thinking of some other discipline?
No, never. I thought of another discipline. I always liked juggling because it came naturally for me, and the tricks and the success was good. So I said, no, I like it.
Yeah.
So I continued doing it.
Yes.
And I always wanted to do it only juggling.
Only juggling, nothing else. So you don't do anything else?
No,
no
I
backflips,
skate. No
splits.
No.
No need, of course. Yeah, you ice skate, you said?
Yes, ice skate and juggling. So that
Okay,
I did that for 4 or
show.
6 years.
Okay, nice. So tell me a bit about your parents. Your parents, you said they're still performing.
Yes.
How old are they now?
My mom's 60, my dad is 64, and they're performing in a show in Israel right now. And they're happy, they're doing good, they look great on stage, so everything's working well.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, 60 and 64, that's something. So were they always performing their whole life? Was there ever a moment where they stopped or something?
No, never stopped.
Never
Since they were kids, they've been performing. My mom was 9, my father 13 when they met for the first time in the circus. And my mother was 15 when she married, and 9 months later I was born.
Wow. went fast, yeah.
Yeah, very fast.
Wow, that's beautiful. So she's dedicated to do
The crossbow act.
the crossbow act. When did she start doing that?
30 years ago.
30 years ago.
Yes.
So before that she was a high wire walker?
Yes, an assistant to my father's juggling act.
Okay, I see. So 30 years ago when she was around 30, she just decided out of nowhere, I'm going to do this now.
Yeah.
And she bought herself the
crossbows,
things, and she learned it herself?
Yes, because she did it before bow and arrow with my grandmother in the circus, in an Indian number, but the crossbows are more precise, more dangerous, but very precise, so you can do much more with it.
Okay, so in her show, what does she do?
Well, she does many things, but the last trick is very spectacular because she's risking her life. She puts an apple on her own head and shoots at a set of 8 crossbows, including the one she has in the hand, and each crossbow is activated by the shot she starts with. So she starts a shot and that shoots that crossbow, that activates that crossbow and the other one until the last one is activated to the bow goes right into the apple over her head. It's very fast, I wouldn't do it, I'm really scared to do that, but my mom is doing it now for 30 years.
Wow. Yes, so it's really real circus. I mean, the risk is there.
There's a risk. And people ask her, and she says, "Well, I always had risk on the wire and aerial numbers because she did a lot of aerial numbers. So there was always risk. So it's part of the circus."
Yeah. And do you know what she does to keep in such a good shape?
Oh, she likes to exercise, eat well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a secret that kind of everybody knows, but not everybody does. Yeah. Wow. And how long do you think will they still perform?
I asked them, when are you going to retire? And they said, well, if we're getting contracts, we'll continue doing it.
Yeah.
So they're happy.
Yes,
They keep being called in shows, they will continue doing it. I think for an artist that spent all his life on stage, there's never a day that you want to say, okay, I'm done. It's very hard because you love to be on stage. It gives you so much life that you want to be always on stage, no matter what.
Yeah, it's true. If you would not have picked up the juggling, and let's say you would not have liked the circus, do you think your parents would have been cool with you doing a career as a doctor or as a...
They would have been surprised, but I'm sure they would support me. In fact, with our children, we do the same. They are juggling and performing with my wife and me on stage, and they're 6, 7, and 9 years old. But they go to school. They have to do the school, and that's very important. So they have to do both. They have to practice and they have to do schoolwork. So they're open now. They have that possibility to, in the future, say, well, I really like this show business life. I'm going to continue that, or no, I want to continue my studies. Or you can do both. I have a few degrees and I've been working on the show all my life, so it's possible to do both.
Yes, of course. So you would you ever change anything you did?
I don't think so. I'm really happy, and I thank God that everything has gone the way it has gone.
Yes.
That's why I'm here now.
Yes.
So it's very special how God guides you in life and takes you step by step.
To the places you're meant to go.
So I cannot look back and say, oh, I wish I don't know, maybe some bad things I have done which were not so good, I would rather change. But that's in the past, and I cannot change it now. Only look forward and try to be better in the future.
Yes.
We always get a new chance. We always have to live the present.
Yes.
That's why it's called the present. It's a gift. The past is gone, and the future you don't know.
Yeah. So just the here and now, like this interview.
Exactly.
What was the biggest moment you have experienced on stage? Like, what was for you the most touching, or maybe there's a few of them? Can you just tell me a little bit about that?
Well, first, every show is very important for me. Every single show. Because when I go on stage, even if I'm tired or I don't have that much energy to work, but as soon as I step on stage, my first moment is always looking in the faces of the people.
Yeah.
I go directly to look who's there, and then when I see them and they look back at me, I get really, it's a special moment because I feel that it's the first time that they see me in their lives, and maybe the last time. I won't get another chance. So this is my only chance to give them the best show I have.
Yes.
I have no other opportunity. And so this excites me. So, oh, wait a minute, allow me to perform for you. So this is the moment. And so every single show, no matter where or when, is very special and unique. It's only that show that I have. So that for starters. And second, very special shows that have really touched me are, for example, the one time I performed for Pope Benedict XVI. In the World Youth Day. There were 700,000 people, but the Pope was there and I did the juggling, and after my show, he blessed my wife and me. We're just married 3 months. And it was very special.
Yes, of course.
It was also miraculous because the 2 days it was outside in a big field next to Cologne in Germany, and I tried to do the hats and I couldn't because it was so windy, very windy. The 2 rehearsal days was impossible to throw one hat, and I said, oh, what am I gonna do? So I asked God, and that day there was no wind. The flags they just stopped at 8 o'clock.
At 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it was windy the day and the moment.
Yes, and the evening at 8 o'clock. At 9 o'clock I did my part was around 9, a little bit before, but at 8 I was looking how the flags were moving as every day. They were always moving with the wind. Then suddenly they just stopped. And I said, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yes.
So it was a miracle.
Wow. So yeah, it's interesting to know, how do you think it's possible to combine show business, which is sometimes also a very sexualized show and people wearing little costumes, and there's erotism always mixed with it, with being a very religious person? How do you mix that?
Well, it is hard. You're right. It's not easy. To start with, I appreciate and admire the body. So I think it has a special place because God created it that way. The body isn't bad because God created it like that. So it's beautiful. We have to appreciate it. And the bad thing is when we use it to arouse sentiments which are not good. That's the bad thing that we humans do, all humans, to arouse our animal instinct.
Yes.
But not to appreciate when you say, oh my God, God has created a woman and a man beautiful, because they are created in His image and for love. They are created for something very high. So to appreciate that, that's beautiful. But when we use that to make it very low, like animal instinct, then that I don't appreciate. And yes, I've performed in many shows where it's not very nice how they use the show. But I'm there, I say, okay, I'm here for the public, because that's what pushes me to perform, is the public. They're there, and maybe it's the only chance I get to perform for them.
Yes.
And what's going on in the show, it's not in my hands.
Yeah, that's true. Also, you can't choose that.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So, the show business, was it always something you saw more as an entertainment business or as an art business?
It has both. It's for both, because we are doing artistic things, and so it has a lot of art. And what we do, each one is very special, because there's no two acts the same.
Yes.
Each act has the person, and that person is unique.
Yes.
And so it is artistic, and it's also entertainment, because people need to be entertained.
Unfortunately, the camera turned off at the end, so I don't have you saying goodbye, Paul, but thank you so much for this interview. I'm very honored that you were my second guest. For all the listeners out there who want to know more about Paul, I'll put all his information down below in the info box, so you can contact him if you have any more questions or for anything else. If you want to follow me and see what I'm up to right now, you can check out my Facebook and my Instagram, the two social media platforms I use the most. Thanks for watching. Bye!